Hey guys, it's January the 24th, 2024, and I hope everybody's been having a great day so far today. When I was responding to the comments in yesterday's, well, not yesterday's video, but the day before, I had somebody ask if I could talk about anxiety, and this is one of those topics I haven't spoken about in quite some time, so I figured why not be a perfect opportunity to discuss this topic today. And anxiety is one of those things that I dealt with pretty much every single day. I mean, it was daily I dealt with anxiety. And, anxiety is one of those double-edged swords. Because, we get the anxiety, which, let's just start off with this first. Anxiety is basically, anxiety and a hangover combined, and you get this phenomenon where you get very bad anxiety that accompanies your hangover. And back to what I was saying about the double-edged sword, it's one of those things to where we start getting really bad anxiety, and one of the things that we often will try to use as a means to get rid of the anxiety is to drink. And that's something that I did every single day, and I've spoken about this so many times on here, but for any of you new subscribers here to the channel, I haven't really discussed how much I used to drink back in the day and all that kind of stuff in quite some time. It's been a while since I've really delved into the amount that I used to drink and the frequency and all that. And just really quick, I drank every single day. Unless I was trying to quit, I drank every single day. And I started drinking from the time I woke up, from the very moment I woke up in the morning until I passed out at night. And that was just the way things worked for me. So, I would, let's say, get off work, and I was a chef. I would get off work really late at night. I'd come home and I would start pounding them hard. And, the thing is, too, is that I would start drinking on my way home from work. I'd have 2 really stiff drinks on the way home, get home, and then just start going deep into the alcohol. Basically just drinking straight vodka from the time I walked into the door. And like I said, I would get to the point, I would just sit on my back porch, smoking cigarettes, drinking all night until I got so drunk I just passed out. And I often wouldn't even remember, going to sleep or any of that. I blacked out every single night. But the thing is that the next morning when I would wake up, often I woke up very, very, very early in the morning, let's say 3, 4 o'clock a.m. And, maybe 2 or 3 hours of sleep max is what I was working with. But I would wake up in the middle of the night, my heart pounding in my chest. I mean, pounding. And it was like, when I would wake up, it was like I had this realization that something was really wrong. It was the way that it felt. That feeling when you just know something isn't right and your anxiety levels start to come up, or you're getting into a dangerous situation, or let's say you're driving on a really icy road or something like that. Your heart starts beating, you're just anxious about what could happen. And I would wake up in the middle of the night with this what's about to happen kind of feeling, like something bad is about to happen. And I don't know where that came from. I would just wake up. And a lot of times too, like I was talking about in yesterday's video, I'd wake up in the middle of the night and start thinking about things I had done the night before. Because I wouldn't, when I would wake up, I wouldn't remember what had happened the night before, but I would have these little teeny fragments of memories of something happening, me saying something to somebody, or just doing something ridiculous. And when I woke up and that little flash of a memory would pop in my head, the anxiety set in immediately. And I would lay there and start trying to play back the night in my head over and over and over again, trying my best to remember what had happened, what I might have said, what I might have done. And I could never remember. And like I said, I would get these little teeny fragments of memories, but not enough to put the whole story together. It just never was enough. And that's when the anxiety would start. And then I would start thinking about, okay, let's say it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'd be like, it's 4 a.m. I've got to be at work by 7 or 8 or whatever it was. And I never had a set time that had to be there. I made my own hours basically, but I went in early in the morning, didn't leave until late at night either way. And there were some days I might go in at 10, but there were a lot of days I went in early and I stayed until really late at night. And like I said, I would start thinking about, I've got to be at work in just a couple hours, and the anxiety would start to ramp up. And then I would start to think about, I've already had 2 mixed liquor drinks and it's 5 o'clock in the morning and I still have to drive to work, and the anxiety would start to ramp up even more because I'm thinking about how I've got to drive to work intoxicated. And then the anxiety would really start to ramp up the closer and closer that I got to time that it was about, I had to start getting ready for work, because I knew that I was going to have to get behind the wheel of the car very shortly. And I've got like a hair in my mouth or something, but like I said, that I would get this super bad anxiety thinking about how I had to drive in not too long. And I've spoken about this many times on here before as well, but I used to get anxiety so bad, or hangxiety so bad, that I could barely drive my car. Just getting behind the wheel of a car scared the ever-living you-know-what out of me. When I got behind the wheel of a car, it was back roads all the way. I never took main roads. I could not get to an intersection where I had to turn left. If I got into to a 4-way intersection and had to get into the left turning lane at the light, I would freak out, because I felt like I was going to pass out. My foot was going to slide off of the brake, and I was just going to kind of roll into oncoming traffic. And that's the kind of stuff that would just go through my head in the morning. It was just thinking these awful thoughts. And here I am thinking, I'll have a drink or two and that'll help alleviate this anxiety. Well, it didn't. All it did was add to the anxiety and made my anxiety even worse. So I'd wake up with this awful anxiety, start drinking on top of it, and the anxiety would start to ramp up even more and more and more. And then I'd get to the point where, like I said, I'm driving to work. I got both of my hands on the steering wheel, like holding it. I can't hold my other hand right now because I've got the microphone, but I would have the steering wheel like this, shaking, gripping the steering wheel. I'd turn the air conditioner on full blast. It could be 20 degrees outside. I'd have the air conditioner on. My seat would be ratcheted all the way up to the, like I could lick the steering wheel. I was so close to it. Like, seriously, I don't know why I had to get like that, but I would be so close up against the steering wheel. I felt like I was going to pass out. It's the only way I can describe it. And when I finally pulled into the parking lot at work, it was like the biggest sigh of relief. Like, I finally made it again today. I made it today, knowing that I had to go through the whole process again tomorrow. But in the back of my mind, what am I telling myself? Like I told myself every single day, today's the last day. I'm not going to drink like this tomorrow. I'm going to drink today. I'm just going to have maybe 1 or 2 mixed drinks when I get home from work today. And then I'm going to wake up tomorrow without a hangover. And that never happened. I woke up every single day hungover with anxiety. And it's something, it plagued me for years. I would say for at least a straight decade, I dealt with anxiety every single day. The funny thing about it is, or not funny thing about it is that when I would, let's say that my wife finally gave me an ultimatum and told me, if you don't stop drinking, you're going to have to leave. And I would go, okay, I'm going to quit. I would get a week underneath my belt. After a week, guess what started to go away? That anxiety. It didn't make any sense to me. How is it that the one substance that I'm using to alleviate my anxiety is actually causing the anxiety? And I started putting 2 and 2 together and started noticing that after I got a few days of sobriety, my anxiety level started to come down. And it made no sense to me. And I never really got that far with my sobriety. I think the most I ever got was maybe 2 weeks. And, the thing is, I would start feeling great. My mind would start to clear up. The anxiety would start to go away. The headaches every single day would start to go away. My stomach would start to calm down. I wouldn't be sitting on the toilet for hours at a time. My bathrooms would get back to normal again. And I would always go back to it, knowing that this was causing me all these problems. Next thing you know, I'm getting the pain in my pancreas area again. I'm getting the pain in my liver area again. I'm getting those sharp pains right here in my shoulder blade on my right side again. And the process just started right back over again. And the one thing that I can tell you, honestly, is that once I finally got sick and didn't really have a choice. I mean, I guess everybody has a choice and can do what they want to do, but I didn't want to continue down the same road. And I knew that I had to change or I wasn't going to live any longer. And once I finally got sober, it's not like it happened overnight, but eventually over time, my anxiety levels started to almost dissipate. I like almost no anxiety at all. And now looking back on it, it was the alcohol that was causing the anxiety the whole entire time. I was getting that anxiety every single day. And the thing is that the anxiety depended, the severity of it depended on the amount of alcohol that I drank the night before. And if I ate food or didn't eat food, there were a lot of variables that could affect the amount of anxiety that I had the next day. But if I was like going hard in the paint the day before, all day long, let's say it was my day off, I woke up first thing that morning, started drank all day long, and was able to manage staying up late that night, and I continued to drink until, let's say, midnight, I would wake up the next day, if I had to go to work, with the worst anxiety ever. I mean, it was to the point where, like, I could barely even function. My anxiety levels were so high. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. And another thing too that would happen as well is my anxiety would get so bad, I would get so nervous that I would start to vomit. And I've woke up every single morning and vomited anyway. But my anxiety levels would get so bad that often I'd have to pull over on the side of the road when I was driving to work to throw up because I was so anxious that it made me physically sick to my stomach. And the reason I'm talking about this today is that one of the people in the comments asked me to discuss this today, and two, I really want to make sure that people are aware that if you're dealing with this anxiety every single day, there's a cure for it. There really is a cure for it. If you stop drinking, the anxiety will go away. Once you remove that alcohol, and like I said, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a few days, but you'll start to notice that your anxiety levels start to go away. And a lot of us drink because of high anxiety. We think that it's helping us, but it's really not. At the end of the day, it's actually making our anxiety levels worse. With all of that said, guys, if you are just now watching this, you just found this channel, or you're just now thinking about getting into sobriety, and it's something that you haven't really tried in the past, and you've been drinking for a long period of time, please speak with a doctor before you attempt to get sober, because getting sober abruptly, if you just stop drinking immediately and you haven't tapered, or maybe a doctor putting you on some kind of a medical detox or something like that, it's all going to depend on what your doctor thinks is going to be the safest bet for you. But it can end up being life-threatening. You can end up with seizures. It can be very, very, very bad if you just stop drinking and you don't have any kind of medical supervision involved. Just speak with a doctor. Let them say what they think that you might need to do, because you could potentially, especially if you're alone and you don't live with anybody and you attempt to get sober, you have a seizure, you hit your head on the floor and there's nobody there to help you, it can end up being very bad. So please just speak with a doctor before you attempt to do this. But at the end of the day, guys, the anxiety is a real phenomenon, and it's something that I dealt with my whole entire life. And when I was younger, I had no idea what was going on. I just knew that my anxiety levels were through the roof. I was hungover. I felt like crap. But as time went on, and as I got older and more experienced in my drinking, I started realizing that the alcohol was making my anxiety worse, and it was what was creating the anxiety levels that I was dealing with on a daily basis. And once I got sober, it all went away. And the same is waiting for you. That debilitating anxiety or hangxiety that you're dealing with on a daily basis, every morning when you wake up and you just feel like you just can't do it because you literally feel like you're about to come out of your skin, all that could go away. And sobriety is the key. It is the cure for it. And it really does work. Now, I'm not saying if you have problems with high anxiety levels and it's not alcohol related, and it could be for you, that you just have general anxiety disorder or something like that, and you think it might be the alcohol, and then you remove it and the anxiety levels are still bad, that might be a point where you might need to go speak with the doctor again and address that. But for the most part, I would almost be willing to bet that if you remove the alcohol, that anxiety is going to go away. And it's horrible. I know what it's like. I dealt with it every single day. I was afraid to drive my car to work. And, you know, back before we moved to the house that we live in now, I lived like 5 minutes from my work, and I could just take back roads there, and it would freak me out just driving to work every day. And on top of it, I remember so many times like having to go to the store to get liquor in the middle of the day. The anxiety levels I would have just trying to get to the liquor store just to get my fix. It would scare me. I remember laying in my bed in the morning and looking on Google Maps, trying to find the back way so I wouldn't have to get on any main roads so I could just get to a liquor store. I would sit there and study these maps, trying to find a back road just so I could cut across so I didn't have to get on a 4-lane. It's just crazy looking back on it now. I have absolutely no problems driving at all anymore since I've gotten sober. None. That anxiety is not there anymore. And I know for a fact now it was all related to the alcohol. So, guys, thank you so much for watching today. I really do appreciate it. And let me know about your anxiety in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And I hope everybody has a great rest of their day today. And until tomorrow, I will see you guys then. By the way, before I hop off of here, I'm planning on doing a live here soon. I'm not exactly sure yet, but I'll let you guys know in the next couple days when that's going to be. But I want to try to get one done before the end of the month. So I'll keep you guys posted on what day. It might be this weekend, might not. It just depends on what's going on. You know, it's tax season, and my wife's an accountant. She's super busy right now, and it just really depends on what I've got going on around here. But like I said, I'll keep you guys posted, and really looking forward to seeing you guys in a live so that we can have a nice conversation. The last time I did a live, there was all kinds of kabooms and people shooting guns, and it was a very crazy day that day. I had to get off the live because they just wouldn't stop. But this time we're not going to allow that to happen. So I'll let you guys know when that live's going to be tomorrow. And like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys then. So once again, thank you so much for watching today, guys. I really do appreciate it. Love you guys so much. And until tomorrow, I will see y'all then. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.